that trophy?
Yes, I did.
It's the most beautiful rivalry trophy in all of college football. If you haven't seen it before, get a close-up on that thing.
Let's say that our dad was so forward-thinking that he knew that he was making a creation that no one would ever forget.
Nor be able to replicate.
The genesis of the land-grant trophy really is George Perlis. He wanted to have a trophy commemorating this new rivalry of Michigan State versus Penn State. He was the first Big Ten coach to call Joe Paterno upon Penn State's admission to the Big Ten. In fact, I remember the moment because we were in Hawaii at the Aloha Bowl. We were on the practice field, and he said, "Ken, get Paterno on the phone. Got to congratulate him." Okay, fine. You know, George was tough. He was from the streets of Detroit. Yeah, when George decided he wanted to have a trophy for this competition game, this rivalry game, he called Don Loading, our ticket manager, and myself into the office. Obviously, we didn't have a whole lot of experience doing these things, but basically I called up Larry Cushion because Larry was the guy who did all of our trophies at Michigan State.
It was obviously an unusual request. It wasn't just, we want a wooden base with a beautiful big gold cup on it. We want to have the Nittany lion, we want Sparty, we want all the things that you see on the trophy.
Knowing that I wanted certain elements incorporated into it, Larry said, "I don't think it can really be made out of metal or steel or whatever, or aluminum. It's going to have to be wood because we're going to have to put these mascots, build it into the wood structure somehow." I said, "Fine, go do it."
I remember how Daddy reached out to the small company in Ohio to create and build that monster walnut face for it. It was so big that they could not ship it to us. Mom and Dad sent, I think it was our brother, to meet up with the little company and bring it back to East Lansing where they could then construct it, you know, and attach the different components.
To me, there were only a few things that were important. Number one, it had to be big. Number two, it had to be different.
The first time I actually found out about the trophy, I was actually playing NCAA 14, the football video game, and I'm playing with Penn State, and I'm like, I play against Michigan State, playing like, you know, the franchise mode, and I'm like, what the heck is this land grant? What is it? Like, you get trophies for rivalries in college football? Like, I didn't even know that was a thing. And so I see this trophy. I really couldn't even see it because they show like a super small picture, like about this big, and I'm like what is that? Like, is that a trophy? Like, do they win that like after the game?
You look at the college football playoff trophy, the Big Ten championship trophy, like those iconic shiny trophies that I'm really excited to, you know, hold this trophy. This is going to be an iconic moment for me. And then you see the land grant trophy and it's like a gigantic rectangular piece of wood with some stuff on it. So it's just a little bit different. But I think that's the charm of it. Whoever created it is an absolute genius.
You know, what I remember about Coach Perlis and Coach Paterno seeing it as it's unveiled was that there was kind of an expressionless look on their face. I don't think it was anything that they loved or hated. I think it was just, okay, here's this big trophy and we're going to play for it tomorrow.
I don't recall like 2010, 2011, when I was a student reporter, like there being this fascination with it. The popularity of the trophy's definitely taken off in like the last 5, 6, 7 years.
What makes the land grant unique is, just look at it. I have seen it recently where a lot of like Penn State Twitter, especially, they love tweeting about the land grant. They're like, yeah, it's land grant week.
We're at a part in college football where it's all about embracing weird and oddities. And like, that's what the land grant trophy's become.
It's unlike any trophy. But there's a whole bunch of weird trophies in college football. You got a boot, you got a shillelagh, like you got a whole bunch of weird things. But I just think like just the size of it and just like kind of like just the random things put on it, so many shelves.
Prior to the land grant trophy, I don't believe I've ever seen a trophy with shelves on it.
It is an unorthodox trophy.
You always know every year, like, toward the end of the game, the thing that I start looking for is, all right, where's the trophy? Because that's what people want to see, strangely enough. Like, however weird it looks, they still want to see it and want to see players struggle to lift it up.
So the 2016 game, I would say I don't even really remember the land-grant trophy. That was not the focus at all. We just won the Big Ten East. We're going to Indianapolis. It's a huge deal, and the land-grant trophy almost gets lost in the shuffle there. All my fond memories really come from that 2019 win against Michigan State.
To lose to them 2 years in a row, I think it just kept building that chip on our shoulder. We're like, all right, like when it was 2019, I was like, listen, we're not losing to these guys. Like everyone was just all in on just, we got to go over there and dominate and beat these guys.
After the play fake, long for Freiermuth, touchdown Penn State. Another impressive, gutty win by Penn State on the road in the Big Ten.
I mean, when you're soaking wet, you're drenched, you've been sitting out in the cold, the rain for 3.5 hours. You really have no choice but to celebrate afterwards.
Yeah, the post-game locker room after that Michigan State win was pretty hype.
I don't know where the land-grant trophy is kept during the game. It clearly wasn't on the field because it was a horrible day. But I remember, I think it was Pat Freiermuth and KJ Hamler, or maybe Sean Clifford was a part of that group, and they carried it in to the locker room together while we're all standing there and like almost take off the top part on the door frame, finally squeeze the big thing through the door, and people just start going crazy. Yeah, the land-grant trophy coming in was just the rock star of the moment.
The minute I took my pictures, I was literally just trying to hand it off, but guys just were not taking it. They wanted to just take pictures of me and the trophy. I was like, guys, please just grab it. Like, the last thing I want to do is drop this damn trophy.
So the photo op's over. We're all partying. So I'm like, throw it on my shoulder. I'm about to, bounce with this thing and dance with it. So I toss it over my shoulder, and it's a heavy son of a gun. It's not light. So I'm standing there like trying to keep it from falling over, dumping like the entire iconic trophy on the floor. It was 30 seconds of like pure joy, but pure suffering at the same time. You live and you learn, but it was definitely a moment. It was a moment. That's all I'll say. It was a moment.
I don't know if you remember the last game. There was quite a bit of talk about the trophy.
Yes, that is a trophy, not a piece of office furniture. It's the land-grant trophy. Maybe the most disparaged rivalry trophy in all of college football, but as Mel Tucker said,
it's not your favorite-looking trophy, is it?
Ugly babies, ugly trophies. You're not giving them back. You want them. So.
Not all of it was complimentary.
Updating you, Northwestern, they win the Land of Lincoln trophy. We will have highlights coming your way. Back to you.
I guarantee you it's a better-looking trophy than the land-grant trophy. But
And I remember thinking, gosh, I hope if Lori's watching this, she's not going to have her feelings hurt, because I'm kind of ticked off right now myself.
The land-grant trophy, I'm pretty protective of it in terms of how it gets described. And ugly is not one of the terms I appreciate. I like to think of it as unique, unorthodox, as Leanne said. Those are fine words to describe it. Wouldn't describe it as breathtaking or muscular. Maybe I would describe it as muscular because it's hefty and you don't find anything else like it.
Looking at it up close, it's every bit as weird as you expect it to be, but in a totally perfectly beautiful way, if that makes sense.
Every time I see players pick that up or see it flashed on TV, I think of our dad, and he would be so proud to see that. It's more to us than just a trophy to look at. It's a part of our history. It's a part of us.